Okay, so I know I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. Please forgive me. So if you're in here still, let me know. I'm having my lunch. I'm so sorry. You all are in a different space in my house for now. So let's see who's still on here. So let's see who's still on here. I probably need to clean this lens too. Hello everyone. It is a week of lives with me. Hi Mindy. Okay, I'm about to clean this lens. Give me a second. That's a little bit better. All right, so the subject today is the basics of communicating with men. Show of hands of everybody who's here who, has some questions. Hey pretty candy. I'm eating my lunch. I apologize. I was supposed to have all this done before I went live. But I went to Ulta and I went and got my feet done and I went to Ulta, so it took a little bit longer. This thing is supposed to be off my shoulders, but I don't feel like fixing it. Okay, so let's talk. Let's talk. Now, when I say communicating with men, I do not mean just in relationships. I mean learning how to communicate with men across the board because there is a science involved about how the brain works, the male brain works versus the female brain. So let me know if you all, really want me to break this down. If not, we can talk about something else. Her patience. Okay. So give me a second. Let's get into it. All right, Melinda. Fried rice. I'm so hungry. I thought I was going to get everything done. They took longer doing my feet. Okay, so let's get started. I will be munching through it though. Okay, so here, let's talk. Let's talk about the first thing. Okay, so let's just talk about the first part of it. The first part is on a biological, there is a reason for that too, about getting emotional. I'll tell you why. Okay, so I'm only going to go over, I do a whole workshop on this. Well, let's just talk about some basics. Let's talk about the first thing. The first thing about why we don't communicate well as men versus and women is because there is truly a biological difference on how we process language and how we deal with it. So the thing with language is that it comes in through the left side of the brain, which is our analytical side, the one that, just processes exactly what it hears. In order for it to go to the right side of the brain, which is the more creative side, which is the more intuitive, side, it has to go through brain matter called corpus callosum. Traditionally, men tend to have thinner corpus callosum than women. So therefore, the language does not process over to the side that processes and gets the nuances of language, things like that. So the thing is because of that, men tend to be very literal when they hear language, where we as women hear the nuances. Hey, Bridget, we hear the nuances of language. We can process other things. They're not slow, they're just very literal. Here's how it works. If words are a rock and you're dropping it into water, men hear the drop, the thud into the water. That's what they process. We as women see the ripples of the water and we see the nuances and things. Hence, let me just say this, an example. As a woman, we could say one word, girl. And depending on our inflections, depending on things like that, we know exactly what we're saying. We can go, girl. And we will know just by that. If we're talking about somebody who just walked into the room, whatever we're talking about as women, we know that from that one word. Now, men look at us like we crazy. Tell me how many times a man has told you, you understood what she was talking about? Of course I did. Why? Because that's how we process the language. We see everything, right? Okay, so that's first thing. So with that, that means that sometimes we expect men to process language the way we do. And we have to stop that. So we have issues with men because we say something to them and we expect them to extrapolate the meaning that's underlying, because we would understand that. When I'm so sorry, this shirt, you know, when we do that. So therefore, a lot of times when men tell us, why didn't you just say that? They being for real. So sometimes we get pissed off at men because we say something to them, but we expect them to understand the extra part of that shit, the unsaid part of our language, when they just don't. And then we're mad at them because they don't understand it. But really and truthfully, sometimes we just need to be very specific with men and just say what the fuck we mean. We do. And here's the thing. Once again, it's nothing about them being, but it's just the way they process language. And so if you understand that, this is a lie. This is a lie. This is a live, Ash. Now you know because I responded to you. Okay, almost ready. Ooh, that stuff is hot. Okay, so that's what I mean by the first part of understanding language. Now, what Melinda was talking about is very true. And so when you talk to men, be specific. Hey, Tammy, stop waiting for them to understand what we need out of this conversation. If you want them to know something specifically, just spell it out. And you don't have to be evil or sarcastic about it, but by understanding that they need, they're not going to get our inferences as quickly as we do. They're going to look at it from exactly the literal thing you said. So then we're angry at them because they didn't understand we really meant this. When they going, well, that's not what you said. And and now tell the truth. Aren't those a lot of your arguments with men? Be honest with yourself. A lot of times our arguments with men is not because they didn't listen to what we said, but they didn't understand what we meant. And that is wrong. You want to know something? Just say it. Be honest with yourself on that one. Hey, Lily. Hi, Tammy. How is your husband doing? Thank you, Lily. How often have you talked to a man and you've honestly been on that? Okay, and I know he had surgery yesterday. Okay. How are you doing? Because I know this is rough on you too. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Make sure you get your rest because you can't be good to him if you're tired. Okay, so understand that. So once you get to that point where you can understand that point, that is like the biggest thing I tell women. Okay. That's one of the biggest things I tell women is that if you understand that part about dealing with communicating with men, and not just the man in your life, not just if you're in a relationship, but on work levels, your children, if you can understand this is how men process language, you will be better equipped to deal with them on a regular level. Do I even have that anymore? I gotta find those. Ooh, this needs some more. Ain't no taste in here. Okay, so I need some more honey. Sorry, my tea is a little not sweet. Ugh, I'm battling with it. I'm so used to putting lemonade. I've been steaming lemonade for my tea, and this time I didn't. So I'm probably gonna need to make me some lemonade. Okay, so that's the first thing. Step number 1, understand that. Step number 2, as Melinda was saying, stop dealing with things on the emotional level all the time, because men turn off. They honestly don't hear us. It automatically their brain turns off when they hear the emotional side. They're like, wah, wah, wah. They're done. So, yes, when a man hurts your feelings, you can be like, this isn't, the way you acted in now. Here's the way you bring up emotions. The way you bring up emotions with men is to explain to them what have they done, so then they can see, oh yeah, she about to be pissed off at me. Have you noticed when you do that, and I'm not saying you got to be like, motherfucker, but when you say it in a calm manner, let's all just be calm sometimes, and just let them know, this is why, this is what you did, so this is why I'm a little pissed right now. Talk about why it hurts your feelings. So the first thing you must do with a man is make him turn on the fact that what she's saying makes sense. As opposed to, because see, what we normally do is we're upset. Right. Yep, exactly. So instead of going through, and the first thing we normally do is we cry, or we are like, super like upset to begin with, and we go straight into how you feel. You made me feel like this. No. You want to break down the reasons why this is what is going on, because most of the time they know what they've done. They know exactly why you pissed or hurt. But when you come at them strictly on the emotional level, then they shut down and they pull up their defenses. If you come to them logically, which is where their brain is, then it's like, yeah, she right. That was messed up. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. Or maybe I should be doing better on this. Now, you also have to know what kind of person you have. There are 2 types of men in this world. High energy men, low energy men. High energy men need a different type of conversation. Low energy men need a different type. Especially when it comes to dealing with things like their dreams, what are their inner thoughts, because men have a serious inner world that they don't hold. Well, if a man puts his hands on you to stop the drama, then you're around the wrong man. I've never had a man put his hands on me to stop drama. Let me just that one right there. If a man cannot process, and he processes it to that point, then it's time for you to leave him alone. Just real talk. See, we don't need to make these excuses. See, no. A man who puts his hands on you needs to be left alone. Period, point blank. Because if he puts his hands on you one time, he's going to put his hands on you again. So no. I don't care how overloaded he is. He needs to be, no, not at all. And I think some of us need to understand that. That's making an excuse for abusive behavior. No. I ain't never been hit by somebody. Right. Man walks away. A man steps away. And as we should. But if somebody come at you and hit you, oh, it's time to roll. No. If that happens, you leave right then. No turning back. No apologies. You leave them alone. Because if they put their hands on you once, it will happen again. It will. Now, so, hey, Crimson, haven't seen you in a while. So do not ever go down that path. But like I said, once again, the problem with that is that they are not a man that someone should be with. And that's for real. Because that's just an excuse, because if they hit you in that situation, they're going to hit you in any other situation. So see, by saying on system overload, we're giving them an excuse for it. No excuses for hitting somebody. So we don't ever want to give a woman that thought process. I would never give a woman that thought process. Oh, he just lashed out at you because of the system overload. No, the motherfucker's weak. And he put his hand on you. And that's just, see, that's what I'm saying. That's terrible. That's terrible. And I'm so sorry for your friend. So do be aware of that. Now, we're also talking about probably a younger person. And honestly, what's going on with our youth and our young ladies needs to be addressed really seriously, because it's out of control. I'm in high school. It's out of control. All right, so we'll get on that another time. So now with it, so that's one thing. Here's another thing that I have learned over the years. When in arguing with a man, argue with him. Get everything out that you need to. Do not hold back. Do not hold on to things and then fester on it. Because you have to understand, men are very in the moment. When they're in the moment. So when that moment is over, they have moved on to the next moment and the next moment. Whereas we as women, we hold on, we fester on it, we ruminate on these issues, and then we come back 2 weeks later, 2 months later, and then we're like, remember when da. And they're like, but we talked about that. You still holding on to that? And that's because from a communication level, they feel like it's resolved. So if something isn't resolved, deal with it right away. Don't let it sit around. Do not sit around thinking about it and then coming back to it, because that's when it becomes an issue. The most you should sit on that is a day. And then you need to deal with it and try to resolve it. Now, of course, not everything can be resolved that quickly, but understand, by holding on to issues, and we do this a lot, some shit happened 3 weeks ago. We ain't saying a word about it until 3 weeks later. They don't even know why we're upset, because that honestly is not something they're thinking about, because it's so in the past to them. And we as women have to stop holding on and festering. We get ourselves worked up and pissed off and stay pissed off much longer than men. Much longer than men. If we would learn how to argue with a man. And the way to argue with a man is be real. And don't sit around and wait about it and think about what you should have said. No, say what you have to say. But use the things I said to. Okay. Now, men do need cheerleaders, like Melinda said, but there are different types of cheerleaders that a man needs. This is for your children or whatever. 2 types of cheerleaders they need. 2 types of men. There's a high energy man, a low energy man. The difference is, same scenario. Right. Yeah. Because we hold on to it and then we talk about it a month later. Remember when you did that? What? So, here's the next part. I got to tag this right. When a high energy man versus a low energy man. A high energy man is very like, in the moment, I want to do some stuff here. Very like this. Low energy men tend to be a little more laid back. You know the difference. That got high energy man comes into the room, life of the party, yeah. And then you have the low energy man comes into the room. He chills in the back in the cut. But then he's like, chill, he's cool and everything, but he just ain't that guy who's going to be like, oh my God, everybody face, but people like him, So here's how they need the differences in how they need to be supported. And this is about how you support them. A high energy man, say he wants to go out, he wants to start a company. He wants to go out, he wants to quit his job. He's got this great idea. He wants to do it. A high energy man needs you to be like, oh yes, you know you can do this, and support what they're doing. Now, here's the deal with supporting. At that moment, you need to support how they're doing, what they plan on doing. This is not the time, especially when they initially tell you, because when a man shares his innermost dreams with you, you are special to him. He, especially as a woman, because they think we're not there with them. So their innermost thoughts, their innermost plans are something that they don't share easily. So when he's coming to you with that, he thinks you hold a special place in his head, not just in his heart, but in his head. So as a high energy person, at that point, that you need to rah. All right, yes, you could do it. I know you could do it. Blah blah blah. Now, say he wants to, start this company, and you're like, in your head, you're going, I don't know if this is going to work. In the beginning, you don't want to discourage a high energy guy. You want to be like, yes, yes. And then later on, once the moment dies down and you're really talking about it, then you can come up with, so contingencies. So what do you think about this? What are your plans for this? And then get him to sit down and talk about plans, because that's what he's going to need. Because a high energy guy is going to be all on the high, but he actually needs somebody who can sit there and talk about really planning it out. And if you don't discourage in the beginning, they're more likely to listen to you when it's time to talk about those things. If you come off discouraging to begin with, then they're never going to listen to you, because they're going to like, oh, she don't care. We already know what she thinks, right? Hold on, gotta wipe my nose. I'm sorry, but I gotta eat. I'm starving. Now, low energy man is a little different. I mean, same thing. He wants to start this business. A low energy man wants you to say, oh, that's wonderful, but he wants you to come with your thoughts, your true thoughts about him. So you all can kind of like dialogue about what he's talking about doing. So as opposed to just saying, yes, yes, you can do it, and be like, oh, that's a great plan. So what are you thinking? Where do you think you want to do it? Where do you want to go? They want you to start really talking about the meat and the bones in the beginning, because then they see that you're serious, that you're not just blowing them off. Because a low energy guy is going to take that as a blow off. Oh, they just talking. They don't really care. They ain't really supportive of this. They'll take it as you're not being supportive of things at that point. Whereas high energy guy needs that kind of thing and then come back in. So there's a difference. So whenever you're dealing with a man, whoever it is, and they're on something like this, remember that. Look at the type of person they are, and then you can understand how to deal with them in reference to talking about life, about plans, about things like that. Now, I have to find them because it's been a while since I've done this. Man, where is that list? I have a list of words that I call power words. When it comes to men, there are certain words that trigger them, because like for us, we're emotional beings, right? So as a woman, if we hear somebody talking about how beautiful we are, how they like the way they feel for us, those are those ooey gooey words that we love, right? Most men are not into that. Most men are about action. They're about action. And let me say this, it's even men who seem very artistic and things like that, and we think of them as being more creative and more emotional, but they're still men. So even though they're still looking at life, trust me, if he's an artist, he wants to be the best artist out there. If he's a poet, he wants to be well known. See, he's not doing it for that. He's doing it with a plan, with a, in his head, he wants to be the best at everything. Am I still here? Because I know I haven't seen anybody chatting or anything. So I'm curious, because I can be buffering and don't know it. So this is a buffer moment. Can you let me know if I'm buffering? because I could be just talking to myself. Okay. I just have to know because sometimes I'm buffering and I don't know it. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, so with that, where was I at? Where was I at? Okay. Okay, so understand that. So what happens is that men, they don't respond to the words that we respond to. We respond to emotional things. We respond to those type of things, that communication kind of vibe. The words that men respond to are more action oriented. I have a list and I have to find it again. I call it the power words, which is the words that make men um that they respond to. And I promise you they do. It's things like, oh, you're so strong, you are, you work to achieve achievement. I have, it's a whole list. But when you work with the words, you will find that men tend to like really like what we do. So like if somebody contacts you, if a man out the blue just was like, hey, beautiful, especially on a day when you're not feeling beautiful, there'll be a moment of like, oh, yeah, where we feel it. We feel it right up in here. Well, if you contact men, if you say to a guy, I admire your strength, you're so goal oriented, you really work hard. Those words are the words that says to a man, wow, she really gets me. She notices what I do. Like, for instance, I promise you, I've done this before. I've done this experiment where I have actually strung up a bunch of these words. Like I said, I was just thinking about you. And, I really wanted just to say that, I'm really glad that I know you because you are so, strong and, you're so goal oriented and you work so hard to achieve and take care of your family, shit like that. And it was like, I just wanted to like, let I was thinking about you like that. I promise you. I did that one time. I just sent this random ass string of words that I came up with. And so many men responded back like, oh, thank you so much. Oh, I really appreciate it. Because that is what taps into their emotional side. Even though they'll never say they're emotional about that, telling a man that you like, oh, baby, I'm just, I love watching you work. You're such a hardworking guy. Think about it. What do men say about themselves? I'm a hardworking man. Do you have people coming this weekend? Okay. Tell a man he's such a hardworking man. And you're there for him. Listen to how men describe themselves, and that'll tell you how to compliment them. Really. Listen to how men describe themselves, and you will learn how to compliment them. And most of them do not talk about their looks or anything like that. They talk about the tangible things. I'm a good provider. They want to be seen as good providers. Stuff like that. Stroke their ego like that. That strokes their ego. And it's really not that hard. Because we are the seats of language, ladies. So we must stop. See, the thing is, we do wrong as we say, how come they don't understand us? How come they can't? They should understand, to learn to understand us. Stop talking like that. Stop talking like that and understand how to talk to men. The hen knows it's daybreak, but she allows the rooster to announce it. And that's basically what you're doing. If you understand how to deal with language with them, life is so much easier. Life is so much easier. Trust me. And listen, I'm here to say that I don't necessarily do it with everybody. I'll be like, yeah, whatever. So I have to do that myself because I understand language. So I do tend to be more literal with men. So because of it, I tend to be more literal with men, but I don't say it in a sarcastic way like I used to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like one time, for instance, I started a job when I was in college, working in a college department, And the first day I come in, we're about to have this, it was like a Friday night meeting, right? And it was in this building, and they were trying, and it was like, we had to get in this building. It was around 4:30 or something. It was summertime. And so the lady in the office said, hey, go over there, meet the guys over there that you're going to be working with, right? So I go do that. And when I'm there, they're just standing there. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, well, we rang the buzzer for the specific place we needed to be in, and no one's answering it. No one's answering it. So I'm looking at them. I said, okay. And they were just like stymied. And then I was like, okay, so did y'all do it? And I immediately went into girl mode, which is, okay, so, and ring another damn bell. Now, they had, for a while, they couldn't stand me because of that. They told me. They was like, look, who she think she is? Now, of course, I rang a few bells. I got us in the damn building. But I could have done it a little more diplomatically. Like, for instance, instead of, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like they just standing there like they confused. If that would not work. Okay, so instead of being the ass that I was, I should have said, hey, so did y'all try any other, bells in the building? Maybe somebody else can let us in. Maybe there's somebody, the person who's going to let us in might be in the bathroom because it's, late. It's summertime. And not give that look either, because that would have been my look like big dummies. So we have to watch the look too, because we'll get that look like. But remember, they're very literal. So they were trying to get into this particular place. They always come and do this. Someone always answers the door. And they were just like, no one's going to answer. We're locked out. And me being the woman was like, what are you, stupid? So it got us off to a bad relationship. After that, calmed it down, but it was not helpful to our working relationship in the beginning. So that's what I mean. It's like, have to be a little more mindful of those things. So those are some basics. You got any questions or anything? You have any questions? Because, guys, I'm not going to stay on long. I know y'all don't believe that, but I'm about to get off because I need to put on some makeup and film. I was supposed to have all that done before I got on. But the pedicure and Ulta called my name. The pedicure and Ulta called my name, so I was outside a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. Well, I'm doing this one now. We'll do another refresher. I'll come back with a little more information. I have to pull all my notes. No, I went to get a pedicure. Then I went to Ulta. So I went to pedicure first, and that took a little bit longer. And that was that. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you. So that's it for today. I'm about to get out of here. I'm about to go on and get ready to film, because I got to put up a video today. Yes. So you all have a great day. Thank you for hanging out with me during my lunchtime. I'm going to fix my shirt correctly because I'm looking a little crazy. But, you was at Ulta again. All right. So you all have a great day.